morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time to get your paint on. My name is Dallas. I'm the painting and trade manager here at Privateer Press. And I'm joined today by marketing manager Jackson Wood. Hello, Jackson.
How's it going, Dallas?
I'm doing great. And as usual, our magnificent and most wonderful video producer, Tony Konachek.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, there we go. Microphone. We're live. Privateer Press live. Check it out. We're getting our paint on. And today I'm going to be working on my Twilight sisters. And if you caught me last week, you saw me working on these lovely ladies. And we are almost done with them. And so, yeah, let's just get our paint on. Let's just get going.
Do you want to update us on your progress this far?
My progress.
You started them last week, but some work has been done on them since then.
The progress is killing it, dog. Like, I'm almost done with these. Let me see. Let's talk about the maiden here. So I've given her a red velvet dress with some pretty black trim and a little white, let's get my pointer stick. Little white bodice and collar. She's got a silver chalice, which will be painted. There's some little additional paint that needs to be going on there. And I started her hair. I'm not quite done with her hair. Her hair needs a little more highlighting. But right now she's looking pretty good. And the hag, the crone. Once again, the black cloth, red accent cloth. She does have a ugly old shawl over her shoulders. And she's got all these little accoutrements. She's got a little skull. There's like a little thing in there that still needs to be painted. There's like an old hand. She's got some little crow feathers. She's got a rabbit or a hare, probably whatever you want to call it. And a little bundle of what I like to imagine as like potion ingredients, little green little bit to make her gumbo taste tasty.
A splash of flavor, one might say.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's oregano because I put some little red dots in there to like indicate some sort of poisonous attribute. Like it's not a good thing. You don't want to eat this gumbo. This gumbo will not do you good. But all that's left on her is I gotta finish up these crab legs. She's got some big old crab legs. She's got tentacles done. She's got a cobra, which needs the eyes painted. I just was working on him this morning. And then we got to paint the glow on everything. So that's going to be the primary focus. But I want to get these crab legs knocked out real quick.
And while you're working on that, we have a question of how do you make clothes look like other textures?
How do you make clothes look like clothes? So if you take it's hard to see, but your eye does pick it up. And whenever I'm painting these with my highlights, I usually do like a blended first highlight. This is black, so it's primarily Thamar black. I paint the whole thing Thamar black. And then I do a very subtle highlight to kind of bring that in together. And then definitely on this edge of this hat, I just start doing like little nicks, just little dashes. That's the only highlight really. And then I'll do like two colors up of that. So like one lighter than my blended highlight and then an even brighter version. And it just gets that little texture going on. Definitely makes it look rough. Also keeping the blends super smooth and not a lot of really tight blends except for right where really hard lines are. So like right here where these stitches are, there's like these little pinch points. Those will have like little tight lines, but the rest of the blends are very smooth. So you're getting that cloth look to that surface.
Hopefully that helps you, Joris. We are super excited to have you all here and have your questions asked to us as Dallas continues to paint the Twilight sisters.
Welcome
today.
aboard. That's what I say. Come on down and get your paint on at Dallas Painting Town. Toot toot. No?
Yes. And since you all can't see into the room, you want to focus on what Dallas is doing. I always love to call out weird things that are happening. We have John, one of our social media coordinators, in here with us today.
John Swinkles.
John Swinkles. He helps Tony and Dallas put together all of those amazing tutorial videos and other videos you get to see. So it's awesome to have him in here with us. Maybe he'll get on the mic. Maybe he won't. We'll see what the day has in store for us today.
Step up to the mic.
Yeah, John is one of the other laughing noises you hear in the outtakes of the P3 videos.
I believe he also participated in the Super Metallics video. Like, he was on that chorus with Dallas.
That was definitely a duet to end all duets. When I say end, I mean we brought about the end of that was Ragnarok. There was also your Helios that got sacrificed to the chainsaw gods. He gone.
Yeah, we took that Helios off of John's desk and destroyed it immediately.
When I say take, he was very excited. He's just like, yes, use this Helios, for this is a grand adventure that it must partake.
Who took the pieces?
I thought I gave them to Tony.
Who did take
No?
those pieces?
Are they in your office?
No, they sat around for a while, unclaimed.
Well, they should be claimed by something. They should at least be, like, used as bits or something for something else. Ooh, you could make an awesome Extreme Colossal Wrestler with that. Ian would like to know, Dallas, what's that dropper you used?
What's that? What? Are
A
you
dropper? Some sort of dropper going on? Is that your pipette?
In your water.
in my this right here? Is this what he's talking about?
I think so. I think that is what he's talking
This
about.
is just a pipette. It's just an artist pipette, and this to get water out, so I can add it. So I have my brush water here in the Scully logo cup. There you go. And then I have an extra cup of just clean water. This is just pure clean water that I use to mix and stuff like that.
And for you, Ryan, that is a mic stand with a spray primer cap that Dallas has attached either with sticky tacky or double-sided tape to keep the model affixed.
And the mic stand part of it is purely for video production to keep the miniature in place. But
Although, I've been getting a lot of questions about that on Facebook. People have been like, dude, what is that rig you're using? And there are some people trying to use it at home just for regular painting. So I'm kind of curious how that's working out for them at home. If it's like helping with any sort of, what's the word?
Stability?
No, the word for like your body being
ergonomics.
ergonomics. There you go. I wonder how it's doing for people's ergonomic health.
Well, if anybody out there has actually used this stand for painting at home, we'd love to hear from you.
Because I personally don't like it, just Tony makes me use it.
We don't like to sacrifice certain things.
My comfort is definitely on the top of the list of things to be sacrificed.
Oh, yeah.
Right behind Helios's.
Helios is up there.
It's like the number one thing.
Oh, 100%.
100%. Helios is my favorite. Oh my God, can I say that? Can I say Helios is my favorite of the closet? I love that warjack. That warjack does look so dope. That colossal looks so dope. He's got a big Cyclops eye.
The Cyclops eye is one of my favorite features about it. I really liked the insider you did a while back on painting that eye.
The big glowy eye. Yeah, it was my favorite part. Look at this reference material. So I got my little Gobber Chef, and he's got some crab legs back here, and I'm going to use those to like kind of match the. I don't know what you're saying.
Tony's pointing at things frantically off screen, and we just don't know what he's doing.
So I got my little crab legs on this, and I'm just kind of using those as reference to make sure I kind of do it the same way. So what I got here is I painted the crab legs in Scorn Red, and then I just gave them a quick shade of Umbra Lumber. And now I'm going to use a little Kador highlight and just do a real, and maybe a touch of Scorn Red. Tone that down. Maybe 2 touches of Scorn Red. And just give them a quick little highlight just to let those little crab legs pop out. Nothing too fancy here. Just a little highlight. This one needs to be darker because they're in the shadow. Bye.
Goodbye, John, for now.
John left. He's tired of my shenanigans. John's
nope, he's
back.
back.
He loves my shenanigans. There is no behind the scenes here.
I mean,
This is family.
it's like DVD commentary, where we're all just back here commenting on the world all day, every day,
Oh man, you should be
and judging.
serious judgments on each other. Oh, got a little spot of paint on my Cobra.
There's a lot of days that I wish I was closer to where you guys paint, so I could hear all the like live music from Dallas. But the marketing pit itself is also just basically constant screaming. A lot of weird animal noises too.
Hi, meow.
So Joris has another question for you, Dallas. When
Hello,
and for
Joris.
what?
Ready for what?
When and for what
When and for what?
do you use inks?
Do you use inks? Lots and lots of things. Inks make wonderful glazes, such as for painting your K-door. You definitely need some red ink to paint that. I use it to achieve a lot of different glow effects. We use it as a glaze there. I like adding it to paint, so like a lot of circle models. This isn't a circle model, obviously, but I'm just going to use an example. So like on a circle model, you might have like this is a brown, and these boots are brown. So you got 3 browns. So what I'll do is I'll just make the same recipe and paint them all the exact same. And then I'll take a glaze of ink and I'll just glaze over top of one of those elements, and it just changes the tonality or the color and gives it contrast between all the different browns to make them look different. And it's a very quick and effective way to get through that step. Then instead of like making different recipes for 3 different browns, you just use an ink over the top of it real thinly to change that and get that pop. You can also use it to add to paint to make them more intense. I definitely like for leather, like Signar, I use brown ink mixed in the bootstrap leather to create my first shade and give it a very distinct look. So lots and lots of different uses.
Dope.
I love inks. Like, I think they're a little underutilized. Maybe we should just do a special ink video or something. I don't know.
It might be an idea.
I know a guy.
I mean, it is an idea.
We do know a guy.
Do we know a
We know
guy?
a couple of guys.
Do we know?
A lot
do
of
we
those
know
guys
some guys who can make videos?
Yeah, I was gonna say, so people produce that, like as John said over here. I think most of those people are in this room right now. I was gonna say Brendan's not here, and Travis has a good question. Travis Marg, one of our favorite.
Oh my
people.
gosh, Travis!
Hey, what's up, dude?
His question is, will any of us be playing games at Lock and Load? And I'm going to take that question and kind of pervert it a little bit and say, what are we going to be doing at Lock and Load? Like, what is each of us more or less going to be doing then?
Somebody can go. Who wants to go first? So we round table.
I can go first because mine is the boring one. I'm going to be going around. I'm going to be like doing some Facebook Live stuff with people when I can, to some extent. I'm going to be watching people play games and being there to answer questions about rules and to look with my dead eyes into space as people ask me questions and just sort of say, yeah, that is the answer.
Yes, you can charge.
You can charge across that. You have Pathfinder. It's safe.
Go
It
ahead.
is on fire.
I'm going to be just doing my video stuff, getting ready for presentations, doing all the live streams for all the Iron Gauntlet and one-off games, and Penny Arcade happening there as well, which is super cool. So I've been told this year that I might be able to have some time to get some games in, but we'll see.
Ooh.
Otherwise, I will definitely be there, kind of flitting and floating around.
I think that's mostly going to depend on how much I end up doing, because I'll be doing mostly the same thing as Tony and basically shadowing him all over the place so that the stream is up as much as possible, and so everything that we can capture and share with folks that can't make it gets up there and gets out to folks.
Oh, wow, I sound like I have a crazy busy schedule compared to you guys, don't I? So I have to run the upstairs. We have the hobby hangout area, so I'll be in that all weekend. I will be doing classes, which I have 5 or 6 classes. Also, we have the P3 Grandmaster Painting Competition going on that weekend, giving out some awesome prize money to some folks. So I'll be judging that and stuff. And of course, Friday night
Stuff is the best stuff.
is my favorite part of Lock and Load, and that's the Iron Painter. And I will be challenging 3 people to a speed painting competition. And I hope they're ready, because there is some... I'm just going to say, they're not ready for it. They're not ready for this challenge.
People are never ready for what's actually going to happen.
But this year in particular is insane. Lots of games with lots of different people will be available to play. Go play a game with Souls. Like that, I'm done. That's all my stuff. But
Yeah.
you could play the whole. Who did Souls?
Did.
Souls played in the Iron the whole time in the Iron Arena.
Yeah. No, and if we have time to play games, we're absolutely going to play games. Like, we are there to be around you guys, to be with you all, to socialize with you, and make sure that you have the best experience you possibly can. And if you haven't already, make sure you go over to pplockandload.com, get those tickets, and see us in July.
It's going to be crazy. What?
Oh, Ed's going to try to get into Iron Painter this year.
Who is?
Ed Burrell.
Oh, I want to see that.
I want to see that, too.
I want to see that.
And then
Mr. Ed Burrell throwing down on Dallas. Come
I
bring
know.
it, boss.
Bring it, boy. Got some other questions here. A few. Some may have slipped past. The first one here from Tim. We did show the other Twilight sister. There's a good chance that we'll bring her back up again. Dallas talked about her when we first started, but there's a good chance we'll show her off again because Dallas is going to paint some glow effects today. He's touching up some other stuff right now.
So I just, let's go ahead and knock that out real quick, what I did. So on these crab legs, I paint them scorn red. And then I did a shade of umbral lumber. And then I added some scorn red and some Kato red highlight and did a little bit of highlighting. Then I added a little bit of Minoth white highlight to that, and I put some little tiny little dots to give that texture, that little crab leg texture on there. It looks really adorable. And then I just painted the snake eyes yellow. I'll paint pupils on those in a bit. I have to Google snake eyes so I make sure I paint those right, because I like having reference when I do that stuff.
Reference is important.
Reference is super important. You should always use reference for everything you're painting.
Yeah.
Let's put that other Twilight sister up here real quick.
Yeah, go for that. There was also a question about if we're ever going to do a live stream tutorial for people. It's a little bit more complicated.
Define tutorial.
To set up a live stream setup similar to what we have here. Like, there's tons of those out there on the internet. There's definitely a lot of good ones. There's no right way. There's no wrong way. Well, the wrong way is to not actually have a live stream, I guess. Like, if you don't produce something, that's the wrong way. Yeah. And then, Stefan, I saw your question, but it slipped past me. So if you want to ask it again, just so I can see, you were talking about painting Morgul 3, and it looks like you're asking a particular way to paint up his entourage.
Entourage.
Yes, those are pretty deadly. I like that they have his old fan of shadows. It's one of my favorite things about them. Yeah. Stefan would like to know any tips to get a nice purple and or green color.
A nice purple and beaten purple is a nice purple. There's mix. Obviously I just made a purple right here. So Exile Blue mixed with Sanguine Base or Exile Blue mixed with Scorn Red makes a nice purple. It's very desaturated, so it's kind of warm purple. Beaten purple is very royal, and you can add some colors to that to change it. Murderous Magenta or Tentacle Pink can change that depending on what you want. Just play around with it and see what you want. Greens, the P3 line is full of greens. I don't think you could want for greens.
Like a jade green.
Iozan green or Gnarls green are really good. To get a jade, add Minoth white highlight to your Iozan or your Gnarls for the type of, just play with it and see what type of jade you want out of it.
Oh, these are good questions from Ryan and Seth. When you finish a model, this is from Ryan, do you yell abracadabras? And then for the second question from Seth, when do we apply the P3 metallizer?
Well, the metallizer always goes last. So you can get that on every element. The weathering widget definitely goes last. You always leave the weathering widget for last. The P3 metallizer is usually on the final stage of your metals, if you recall the video. And what was the other question? There was another question.
Do you yell abracadabras when you finish a model?
I yell abracadabras at all the most inappropriate times at work.
There's also the
That's
weird
all I'm saying.
Well, there's that, and there's also the weird occurrence when Dallas just is sort of doing something and it just happens. Like, you just hear it in the background, and it doesn't come from him or any real, like, body in the office. It just kind of is there.
It just is.
Oh, okay. That's fair.
That's awesome.
If you didn't hear, John is in the rafters at some point in time, in the drop ceiling, just crawling around. I thought it was rats.
I mean, let's make a desaturated pink.
And as for you, Esther, Dallas typically primes things in black.
Yep, pretty much always.
I will say it's based on the model, like most of the, but black is the standard.
I don't think I ever prime anything in white.
No? Okay. That's fair. I do very rarely, personally, but black is my go-to.
Paint these little sucker cups on this tentacle. Just kind of poke those in there, let them live.
Ooh. Question about the Widower's Wood box. Are we going to do any kind of painting for Widower's Wood models?
Didn't we do something with that?
Schick did some.
But didn't
for his grind team, yeah.
I thought we had an insider about those with Archer.
I think so.
I think there's an insider about those,
Yeah.
painting those.
Yeah, there might be an insider about it. I would have to check. I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, Schick painted like a really awesome Gator Man. Or not Gator Man,
I mean,
but
is there a
a
specific
Wrestler.
question about painting the Widower's Wood?
No, it was just will you help us out painting the Widower's box really fast when it comes out? And we've kind of done some stuff there.
Man, I'm pretty sure there's an article about that exists.
Yeah. And do you prime gray at all from Andrew?
No, I prime black.
Yeah, that's why it's, some people are just joining us now.
I prime black.
Hashtag what? T-shirt.
I prime black.
Yeah. That's fair.
All right, little black line around each of these elements. Give them that little separation. Oh man, let's put a pupil on this cobra.
Even for white models, Andrew.
Yep.
That pot of gumbo looks amazing.
It's going to get even more tasty here in a minute.
It already looks delicious. That crab leg, even from over here, is like, oh man, I don't even know what I'm going to do for lunch now, but I really feel like spending way more money than I should. Ooh, that's a good question from Andreas. Even if you don't do two-brush blending, do you have a paintbrush in your mouth? Do you always have one in your mouth?
Yes. It feels weird without it.
Ooh, this is a good question for everybody from Stuart, too. In your experience, what is the correct appreciative response to an opponent putting down a fully painted army? And I think everybody could probably answer this one.
My response, or you can go first. Go ahead.
For me, at least, like I always love looking at what they're doing. So I'm a very chatty opponent. First of all, if you play a game with me, I probably will not stop talking. But when somebody puts down a painted army, I always go over to it, look at it, like actually look at things, and say, hey, can I always ask first, but I'm like, can I take a closer look at this or that or the other thing? Whatever thing is actually jumping out at me. I love looking at people's war jacks and war beasts, and just really complimenting what I think is an awesome job. And just really picking out a few select pieces and being like, that's dope. How did you do this thing or that thing? Like, tell me more about this model. But that's me. I'm going to pass it to John. Just go around.
Mine's actually pretty much the exact same as Jackson. Usually I ask if I can take a couple pictures and share it because, well, we do that. But beyond that, then obviously the obligatory fist bump of, like way to like play it painted and bring it to the table correctly.
Tony, we're going to have Dallas go last.
I actually have nothing to add. That's exactly what I like to do too. I spend most of my game time painting, so when everything hits the table, I love seeing what other people have done and brought, and so just kind of end up stopping, taking a good look, and complimenting painters whenever possible.
So I don't think I've played against an unpainted army in like, man, 6 years.
That is a swath of time.
I like playing against fully painted armies. I don't turn down games. I think I just kind of attract the fully painted players. But my response is always, hells to the yeah, let's get it out.
So I think what we're all saying here is that if somebody has taken the time to put down a painted army, be awesome and say nice things.
Yeah, I mean, a painted army, I don't care what for me personally, I don't care what level your army's at. My army's not at great level. My army's at tabletop level. I don't paint studio level for my armies. I like, if you painted your army, that's all that matters to me. Like, don't be ashamed of it. You don't have to be like, yeah, well, I just painted it tabletop, man. It's not that good. I'm like, dude, you painted it. That's awesome. Like, it looks freaking rad, and we're going to have this awesome game where my painted army and your painted army is going to crash right in the middle, and you're going to throw my warjack, and I'm going to shoot your dudes, and this is going to be dope, right? So just, I don't know. See, I'm getting all excited. I'm having to control my words.
I was going to say, like, as you were doing that, of all the people in this room, I probably have to be on the best behavior because yes, that too. I curse all the time. It's real bad. What Grimkin will be available at Lock and Load? A large portion of them. It is not. I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be all of them, just because it is a 3-month release time. So it's a matter of getting things in. But everything you've seen from the July solicitation will be there for sure. August is pretty good chances, and the upcoming September is going to be a little bit more difficult, but you never know. Some of the things that are in the September solicitation are actually in the 50-point army box. So I know that was like July or August for that solicitation, so you'll have a good chance there. But I'm with Dallas too. I only paint things like to tabletop or better because I'm not the best painter, but I love painting.
That's all that matters. Just man, put some paint on your dudes and get them on the table. It just looks so awesome.
Why does my freshly painted model that I'm incredibly proud of and I'm playing for the first time always die horribly and quickly? Or is it just you? It's probably, I'm going to say it's you in this case. Like,
No, I got to jump on board with that. That always happens to
What's
me
that,
too.
John?
The miniature that I want to play the most invariably is the first one to get destroyed on the
I
table.
mean, we could
the
get
brand
into
new painted, yeah.
we
just
could
first
get
one to
into
go.
statistical analysis on this.
It's a psychological thing.
Yep.
You're so proud of it. You're focusing so much attention on it that your opponent can't help but do the same. It's like, oh well, that's just got to die. And that's how they show the appreciation for a really well painted miniature is kill it first, so that it can sit off to the side of the game and they can admire it without having to worry about it killing their.
That's right. Getting
So you're saying that
ignored
the key to winning a game of War Machine is to just hate and be indifferent to
no, Tony.
your
Tony, you
army?
stop right now. No.
Everything amazing, so they can't choose.
There you go.
Correct. Be proud of everything all of the time. Not the opposite, Tony. Come on.
All right.
I'm gonna mess up your name. I'm really sorry. I think it's Pele. But what is your take on converted models?
What is my take on convert?
Yeah.
Convert them. I convert my stuff. Look at my Grimkin army. My whole Grimkin army is converted. My conquest is converted. But I like conversions. I like clever conversions. And if they're done well and they fit I almost splashed paint right on that finished studio model. If they're painted well or they're converted well and they fit the Iron Kingdom's like aesthetic, then I think they look awesome.
Or the aesthetic of your army. I was going to say.
Or the aesthetic of your army. Yeah. It don't have to be Iron Kingdoms, but
So I've been playing Strikeoff 2 lately, and I inadvertently, without realizing it, little known fact, most people here know, I cannot see reds, so my Khador cannot be red, or I won't be able to paint it very well. So I painted them blues, and I did a bunch of trenchwork themes for all of my models, and so I have all these blue Khadorans and Kayazi and all this stuff running with Strikeoff 2, and people always come up and go, oh, that's a sweet Signar army, and I'm like, good, that is exactly what I want you to think right now. There's that too. Yeah, John Signar is like a really awesome red scheme. If you got a chance, was it at where was it? Las Vegas Open. Yeah, if you got a chance to see it, it was really awesome watching John paint it on his desk
That's
when he had the
true.
time to do so.
That army looks dope.
Those models are pretty solid. So what do you got going on right now, Dallas? What are you up to?
So I'm trying to very carefully put some Menoth white highlight down in this gumbo pot without getting too much paint on all the painted elements. But I needed this step to be last because of the glow. Now I'm putting some Menoth white highlight in her spoon. Get a little bit up on that edge. This is just getting ready for that glow step that we're going to work on here in just a bit.
I'm really excited for that today. So for those that are joining us, if you did not know, Dallas is going to be painting the glow effects on the Twilight Sisters today. Any questions you may have, please ask us.
Ask them questions. Make me think.
Yeah, make Dallas split his focus from what he is painting to actually having to answer questions.
Let's put a little bit on the maiden.
Stuart, here's the thing for you, Dallas, and this is probably a question for everybody at this point, too. Stuart's asking, or stating, and then asking that their wife paints everything so much better than they do. How could they convince their wife to help them paint more of their stuff? Like,
Don't
paint
beg.
Stuart stuff. Don't beg?
Don't beg.
I was going to take the more hard-nosed approach and just be like, just keep at it. Keep painting your stuff. Get better. Just keep at like.
Yeah, you. Oh, that's a
Better is
good.
definitely a great answer.
Make it a competition.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
Like she'll love that.
Dallas, what are the ways that somebody who wants to get better at painting can get better?
Patience, practice, and perseverance.
We talked about this like last time. So many P words, so many good P words that we threw around. But another layer of the P3 hobby line.
All right, a little Menoth white highlight on all of our elements. Oh man, I gotta do this live. Ugh.
Ooh, the pressure is on.
So let's take a little murderous magenta.
That is not exactly what the P3 really means, Travis. P3 stands for...
Privateer Press Paints.
Thank you. I was waiting for somebody else to say it better than I could. But we like to throw other P's in there. Patience, practice, perseverance. Yeah, passion. Like, we had a bunch of P words that were really good last time we were joined by all of you.
I definitely like the idea Dallas points out all the time that there is no shortcut to getting better at painting outside of putting paint on minis. So If you want to get good, you don't start out good. You just start painting and learn from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, mistakes are okay, man. I have piles and piles of mistakes. And it's okay. Like, you're going to make mistakes. That's how you learn.
It's true.
If you're making a mistake, you're learning.
Let's see your question, Stuart, about how do you paint yellows better? From my personal experience before Dallas weighs in, I paint yellows in like 7 steps as like my tabletop minimum. Yellows have so many layers to them for me. It's just, let's put this really dark yellow on, and let's do a wash on it, and let's dry brush up this lighter yellow, and just kind of building up that really annoying foundation that can be yellows.
Can you clarify your question a little bit more? What is the problem? What problem are you having painting yellows?
Yeah, I think that's a common. Tony, that's a good point, because I think that's a common. When people ask that question, and I've gotten that question a lot, like, "Oh, what's the trick to painting yellow?" It's like, well, I don't know if there's a trick, but what are you do? Like, what is your technique? Like, when you're painting yellow, like, where are you seeing like your problem? Because it might not be a problem. You might just be missing a step. Right?
Or a different approach that.
So what's the problem you're having with the yellow? That's my question, along with what Tony said. Yes. That's like, hey, my car's having a problem. Well, what kind of problem? Well, you have to tell me. You have to tell me what the problem is.
Yeah, some more specific questions, especially for that one, will help you get to where you want to go, or at least get you closer.
Man, there's so many songs I wish I could sing.
What's typically your approach beyond that, Stuart? Like, I'm not going to get into what you've written there, but like, give us a little bit more, because that's a start, but that doesn't really.
So a couple of things are you having problems with coverage? Do you have to paint the yellow on too many times over your base coat before you get a nice even layer, or are you having problems doing highlights and shades that look good?
Yeah, part of it here is they can't get a wash to work in the shadows of their yellow, and they start from a light, so they go light to dark.
Well, okay, so that's part of the problem. Lighter colors do not like washes, because what happens is, let's discuss this. Let's discuss this a little bit. So let's just experiment a little bit over here. Does this work, Tony?
Yeah,
Not this one. Let's use this book.
And as to you, Bob, like, what's the best way to convert a figure to make a Ergonomics to sea wolf? I don't know if there's a real good answer to that. I mean, the best thing would have just been to have been available to get one.
Cut his leg off.
You can cut his leg off, yeah.
Cut his leg off. Put a peg leg on it. Sculpt a little scully on the back. Call it a day.
Well, they're also asking, like, what figures would you get to convert into that? Like, what would be a good...
Gorman to Wolf.
Yeah, Gorman to Wolf
and
would be the one.
P3 aluminum putty.
Yeah.
And knock that sucker out.
Yeah. Probably just sculpting.
What'd you call it?
Sculpting.
Sculpting, yeah, sculpt it a bit.
So just getting a little glare from.
Oh yeah,
some
I see it.
shades,
That's
yeah,
all right.
color,
So I got a little yellow on here. So what happens is you want this bright, vibrant yellow, and you're trying to put a wash over it. So let me grab a wash real quick. Sorry guys, this is much. I'm not quite
Stepping away from
prepared
our
for
standard,
this.
but that's okay.
I'm not quite prepared for this, but that's all the part of the. Nah, I just need a color. There's a color I want. Let's just use a little bit of this flesh wash.
Some wash.
So the problem with washing, oh, that'll work way better than my external hard drive. That's right. I call my notebook my external hard drive.
I mean, the best thing about pen and paper is it's real hard to hack.
Batteries never die.
So you got this really pretty yellow. You're like, oh man, I need to put some shade on that. So you start to shade it after this dries. This is going to be a process. We're going to go back and forth between this as this dries. Fair?
I think that's fair.
That's fair.
Stay tuned for more yellows. As Dallas, are you preparing for the glow right now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're just painting some murderous magenta over the mid-off white highlight.
We're a little bit different about how we handle chat in general. Sometimes we'll type responses, but typically we'll just actually answer you on the stream vocally. Yeah, as John's saying next to me, like, it makes it easier for people to hear an answer later. They may not know what the question was unless they're watching it with the actual comments come up too. But we think it's a little bit more involved. Yeah. Yeah, it'll happen. Well, hopefully your 15-year struggle, Stuart, will be at least a step closer to being resolved after today.
I am not making promises.
I'm saying I hope. I don't typically promise hope. That's not how I roll. I either give absolutes or I give some sort of, it's coming. Don't worry about it. It's over there. I'm going to let you know it exists. But just wait. If I could give you an exact, I would.
This is just murderous magenta over a mid-off white highlight.
It's a murderous magenta on the Meneth white. Sweet.
This is going to be the basis of our Grimkin glue.
I'm real excited for this. For non-painting recorded questions like that, what you have there, Stefan, erratas will come when they are ready. If we have an exact date for you, we will give it. Otherwise, you can expect, so as CID cycles, for example, like Grimkin rules will be official when Grimkin release. So we'll give you exact dates when we have them, but otherwise we're not going to promise something that we can't actually deliver because that's just bad for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, look at all these little gems.
Well, Dallas is painting, talking about a little bit about philosophy in terms of like talking about releases and when things are coming. The approach that I take, I want people to be excited about things in a reasonable capacity, but I don't want somebody to have unrealistic expectations and then not have those things delivered. I want people to know, like, here's what's happening, here's what you're getting, you can expect it now, just so that you're not disappointed. Yes, Murderous Magenta is a dope color. And that model mark is one of the Twilight sisters from the upcoming Grimkin faction.
Mm-hmm. This is the maiden of the Twilight sisters.
I wish I had a better answer for you, Martin. We are partnered in Europe, so it can be investigated, but I don't have an answer for you right now.
Okay, let's make sure she has all of her murdery magentas.
Is there a part of each of these miniatures, Dallas, that you're particularly pleased with, maybe pleasantly surprised with how they turned out, or something that came out well that wasn't exactly the way you intended, but surprised you?
Yes. Give me just a second. So, I really like the way the hair on the crone here turned out. It was actually pretty simple painting techniques, just a bunch of little stippling, just little dashes and stuff. Made that hair turn out pretty good. The maiden, I really like her skirt. I think it's nice and soft looking and out of focus. But we'll see what happens here.
And we pack our models pretty standard, Brandon. I don't think we do anything super crazy with packing our models. Dallas may say otherwise. They're asking for Gen Con. They're taking their models to Gen Con.
For travel.
Yeah, for travel.
Oh, yeah, we just,
Yeah, some extra
Yeah.
foam inserts. Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all of the studio stuff just goes in battle foam, and we just put a little extra foam in there. But
It's all carry on. I think that would be the
yeah, it's all
difference.
carry on. Don't
It's all
check
carry
it.
on.
Don't check it. Oh my gosh!
No.
Don't check it.
People that work at airports and handle that stuff are called throwers for
They don't throw us for a reason.
Like, I mean, definitely for me in the studio models, I'd rather show up at a convention and have to go to the local shop and buy new clothes than because they lost my luggage and
Yeah.
lose a bag of studio models. That would make me very sad.
Oh, that'd be a nightmare scenario. But yeah, it's that like when we went to Kingdom Con just recently, like we all just packed our stuff up in standard battle foam. We all carried it on, and I think I was the only one that had any kind of real breakage on a model, and that happened at the show, not because of transit. So I'm clumsy.
Of all the shows I've taken studio models to, I've only ever had one break. Of all the different shows I've taken to, or all the different shows I've taken studio models to, I've only had one break while in transit. And yeah, they're all just packed in battle foam, little extra foam either from your blister packs or anything else you've got lying around just to help keep them stable. And you should be good.
Yeah, this is a common question, Esther. That what Dallas has currently is just a mic stand with a primer cap top with some sticky tacky to keep the model on it. But a lot of people just have some sort of apparatus like what Dallas picked up to just keep models on.
So what the biggest thing you really want is this is just a primer lid, two-sided tape, stick the model on top. This lets you grip the model and turn it upside down to get all the little nooks and crannies. It really gives you something substantial to hold. I also use dowel rods. I cut my own dowel rods and glue them to a 50 millimeter base, and then just have those are really nice to hold on to. They're more ergonomic than trying to pinch the base of like this, painting like this. Painting like this, it's really hard on your thumbs and your fingers. Like your hand just gets cramped. It's not you're just constantly pinching and twisting. This gives you a handle. This just gives you something to hold. It's much better, much better.
Travis is making me look at other stuff. I don't like it.
If you're anything like me, holding the base of your miniature also increases your likelihood of losing your grip on it and having that thing hit the floor. It has happened many times to me. I do not recommend doing it.
It's not good. Just mount it.
Yeah, thanks, Travis. I want to pass my phone around for Travis. This is up in Travis's workspace now from his Twitter. You want to see that, Dallas?
Yep.
Dallas is giving a big old thumbs up on that. Travis has tweeted at us a picture of patience, practice, and perseverance in his workspace.
What army is Travis bringing?
Oh yeah, what army are you bringing, Travis? To Lock and Load 2017.
Lock and load. Fun times.
Could he make a design PDF for people to download and print? Maybe Travis could. That's on him. We could do that too.
Yeah, we need a fancy patience, practice, perseverance, P3 logo, hashtag Aberticadalis.
I will make up a brief, or John will make up a brief, and we'll make it.
Hashtag t-shirt. All right, so let's go back to our yellow conversation. So what's happening is when you're painting your yellow and you're doing a wash over it, it just looks muddy.
And that is a Twilight Sister model. What is that? What is that material? I think the finals for the Twilight Sisters are metal, I want to say. I can check it. I have it in my head, but I think they're metal. Yeah, they are metal.
They're metal.
Yeah.
So when you wash yellow, it just, because washing changes the tone of your paints. And so you just get a muddier color. And it's just harder to work with. Whereas what you want to do is you want your yellow and you want to blend up with some colors. Umbral umbers, or even green. Green is a good shade to yellow. If you go outside and you look at cars that are painted yellow, like just focus your eyes in on the shadows, you'll see a lot of green. So what you want to do is not try to wash it. You can do like a blend or a layer of brown. If you do wash it, you do need to come back and reclaim that yellow over the top, because you're just making it look muddy. That's probably where you're struggling at.
Is that possible for you to do a demonstration of what you're talking about?
I don't really have a model. We can do a video on yellow. Like, we can do a whole video on yellow.
Expect to see that in the future.
Hashtag coming soon.
One of the main problems I've had with yellow is not waiting enough time for the previous layer to dry.
Yeah, don't rush it. Don't rush your yellow. Let's put some carnal pink on this model. Blurp. Blurp. That's my Scoopa Dooper brush. Just used to get paint out so I can close the paint pot.
And I'm sure I'm just going to bring it up again. There will be something special about today's stream. We're not there yet, but there will be a secret.
The secret's in the pudding.
Ooh. We hope that works for you, Stuart. Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah, I mean it's really like if you're washing it, you have to go back and reclaim it. You have to go back and reclaim it with the yellow. Put a layer of not dark brown but light brown down first. So like bootstrap leather, beast hide, even like a khaki color. That way you get a nice base layer. Then paint your yellow. If you wash it, reapply your yellow, leaving the wash in the shadows. I prefer a blend, like to blend up some browns or greens to that to create the shadows. And then highlight, it's tricky. Don't add white to your yellow highlight. Add a brighter yellow or mint off white highlight, because mint off white highlight is yellow. It has a yellow to it. So pure white just desaturates it. It makes it look dull and faded, and that's probably not what you want usually. So let's put our.
We do not dare to say that, Joris, as it is Hammerfall khaki, I do believe.
It is Hammerfall khaki, or Jackbone is a khaki color, or Beast Hide is pretty khaki.
So we're still getting ready for that glow.
Yep, I'm just taking some carnal pink and putting it in the centers, the areas I want to be the brightest.
I'm excited. I don't sound like it half the time. As I've said on a previous stream, I have to sound really serious when I'm actually really excited, or people don't believe me. Because I'm just kind of amped up most of the time and very loud. John's just shaking his head at me. That's true. They do not make a mixer that can handle me at my loudest. I don't think they make a mixer that can handle most of us at our loudest. That's true too. don't think I've broken any windows yet. I'm not trying, though.
Just some carnal pink, put it on the murderous magenta. In the spot you want to be the brightest.
We miss you too, Travis. And we're actually, like, this is a good way for us to get out to you all and get to talk with you and have a really good time. And, well, it's been Dallas right now. We're definitely going to branch out and do some more stuff. So you can expect developers to come on live stream. You can expect the writing team to come and talk about upcoming stuff or what they're working on. Well, maybe. They're a little bit reclusive. But
I would love to be sitting in the room with Seacat and Getz as they talk about the Iron Kingdoms. Like, I don't, at that point, I would say nothing. Just have ears open.
When I'm doing podcast and do that segment, it's one of my favorite parts.
yeah, I want to pass this to John because
So yeah, like I do exactly that when I'm recording Primecast, is just sit and listen to the stuff that falls out of their heads because one, they know the Iron Kingdom so well that they can do certain things like kind of like off the hip, like decide what they're going to talk about that day when we're recording and a couple other things, but it just goes in these directions that are not just believable, but like just enhance the world. And so yeah, sitting in and recording that while they're doing that is delightful. So I'd love to be able to do that on this.
It's one of my favorite parts of the job too, is like, I don't know how this works or I don't know what color this should be. I better go ask Doug.
yeah,
Yay.
all sorts of weird questions. We're gonna answer your question here in a bit, Martin. For Jonas, Doug sculpting is a little bit more difficult. Doug is actually remote right now, so we'd have to like splice him in some regard, which is possible, but it isn't something we have explored just yet, just because of where Doug is at. We definitely want to do that sort of stuff, and Tony's gonna write me a note. Oh, it's a note for Tony. I only say I love it because Tony will just have his notebook here. He'll be like, "What about this thing?" I'm like, "You can just talk to me, Tony. You can just say words."
He, like me, is used to being behind the camera, not on microphone.
As you say right now, without microphone.
Yeah, this whole experience is very different for me. I'm used to just keeping my mouth closed, and now I'm expected to talk, so it's a complete role reversal.
I push people. I push them to the edge. But for Martin, this is a good question for you, Dallas. What would be the best way to paint white with shades to highlights? You think so? Is that a good way? Does it have that in it?
I think really the quickest way to get a really good overview is if you go to our YouTube channel. There's the first 10 of our P3 hobby videos, and it's Dallas taking a castigator from start to finish, and I don't think there's a better, more complete way to get an example of how to paint white.
Yeah, it's pretty good. We can talk a little philosophy.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit of philosophy.
The philosophy of white is don't start white and don't end, or don't, the primary color of white is not white. If you look at anything around you, just anything in the room around you, and actually look at the color, like you're like, oh, that piece of paper is white. If you actually look at it, it's not pure white. It's very rarely pure white. It would have to be outside under extreme sun to actually be pure white. So when you're looking at something like the Retribution, and you're like, that's white armor. There's very little pure white on that armor, actually. There's a lot of a cool blue, and then it goes down into grays as the shadow, and then the final highlights is reserved for your pure white. Like that's the biggest trick to painting white, is to your base coat and shadow should not be white. You don't start with white and shade down. Where do you highlight from? Right? You can't paint Mara white and then highlight Mara white. So you have to create either a cool or warm off-white. Use that as your base color. Use the appropriate shadow colors, like Retribution, it's grays, a little bit of green. You can use blues. You can even use, there's all kinds of colors you can use. Look at real life white. Look at real life examples and try to break down what's happening on the white. Then reserve your Mara white as your final highlight, and it'll look more white.
Yeah, we were all just nodding sagely as Dallas talked, as if we knew what was like. Yes, that is correct. And no, none of us know what we're doing over here. Well, Dallas does, but the three of us in here do not.
I guess a lot.
I only do because I learned from Dallas by making those videos.
It's true. We all learn a lot.
That's what we're all here to
It
do.
is one of the perks of the job. Just be learning by proximity.
And this is a good question for Brian. In general, just how long do you spend cleaning up mold lines and excess material?
As long as it takes.
I was going to say something very similar. Like it'll depend on the model. You got to get it done. Like some models are more complicated.
The most important part of being a studio painter or being a good painter in general is be a good modeler,
Yeah.
right? To build a house, you have to have a good foundation, right? If you have a bad foundation, your house is going to fall into a sinkhole or it's just going to start springing leaks. Same thing with painting a model. Like, take your time, learn the techniques, and there's so many techniques. Like, I could do a week's worth of videos on just techniques on how to clean and prep your models. Learn them, practice them, and take your time. Don't rush through that process, or you'll see your mold lines, and you're just going to be upset with your paint job. You're just going to be like, man, I wish I would have just done this. I spent so much time. All I needed to do was spend an extra 30 minutes giving that a little scrub, and that's always unfortunate. So take your time. Don't rush.
Wise advice. I think that's good for anything, though. Too.
That's
Even
the
with your paint job.
patience.
Yeah, even with your paint, just like
That's the patience part.
yeah, just keep doing it.
Patience, practice, perseverance. Like that's all. It's all right there.
Yeah. Pancakes are good.
Oh, dog. Man. Pancake paint jam
Pancake paint jam.
is one of my most favorite things in the world.
I love it. But that always begs the question. I'm going to ask the room, and somebody may get in trouble. Tony's looking at me. He knows what's happening.
I'm concerned.
Pancakes or waffles?
No one's ever had a waffle paint jam. Just saying.
Yeah, the alliteration doesn't work. I like them both equally. I have no. If I have
Get
a
out.
preference, I guess that I prefer waffles.
Get out, Tony.
For texture only, and I like that little bit of crunch. But
You're not
but
coming
really,
back. I'm
you
done
could-
with you.
Hey, look, you just make me a pancake sandwich with waffle center, or waffle sandwich, pancake center. Both delicious, both worthy.
You are an abomination.
Have I told you about my pancake omelets? Have y'all heard about these?
No, you've not.
Oh my gosh. All right, so this is what you do. 2 cups flour, 2 tablespoons baking soda, salt, sugar, 2 eggs, milk. I don't know the ratios of milk. I don't know. You just make it.
Yeah.
That's how you make pancakes. You take your griddle, 350. Make a big pancake. A big pancake.
Yeah.
Big pancake. Like, see that? Bigger than that.
Like colossal size pancake.
Bigger than a colossal.
Yeah, it's more than 100.
It's bigger. It's bigger than
It's
a
on the
colossal.
griddle though, so you don't have.
It's
a
on
pan.
griddle.
No, not a whole griddle.
Then, while the pancake is still goopy on the top, right? So you got the bottom, it's cooking. You
Yeah.
got the pancake goopy on top. Half of the pancake is covered in scrambled eggs, jalapeno,
Ooh,
pepper,
I'm on board.
onion,
Like black pepper,
bacon. So no,
red pepper. That's
like,
why I was asking.
No, like peppers.
Yeah, that's
like,
why I was asking.
Like bell peppers.
Yeah.
Are you giving ingredients for this, or are you just listing off my favorite things?
I'm listing off
I
your
lost
favorite
track.
things. Onion, bacon. I think I said bacon, but
Yeah.
you can add more bacon.
Yeah, whatever.
And then cheese,
Yeah.
right?
What
And
kind of
then
cheese?
Whatever cheese you want. There's no rules.
I'm just making sure.
There's no rules.
There could be an
There's no
optimal cheese.
rules.
There could be an
There's no
optimal
ru-
cheese.
I prefer smoky sharp cheddar.
I like Colby. I like Colby Jack.
Smoky sharp cheddar.
Smoky sharp cheddar, maybe a cheddar jack.
Yeah.
Cheddar Jack's good.
Then
too.
you fold the pancake over on top,
Yep. I knew where this was going. I just wanted to hear
right?
it.
Because you got half of it covered in all your deliciousness. You fold it over on top. You let that sucker cook all the way through, or not, because my kid will not eat a fully cooked pancake.
Yeah.
He gets so mad if I fully cook the pancake. He wants the insides doughy.
That kid makes me laugh so much.
Oh, he's so funny.
He's a riot.
You cook it all the way through. Put that on a plate. Syrup.
No.
Pancake omelet.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
It's fly.
This is a good question.
So fly.
So you're pancakes are the secret fourth P. They are the
That's
hidden
right. It's
P.
the silent P, like Panomia. Oh shit. Oh,
Tony's all jealous. No.
You're allowed one, and you can still stay PG-13.
It's true.
that was my fault. Tony snuck up behind me and it totally caught me off guard.
That's
You
fair.
can't do that.
We can't catch Dallas off guard. It's something we've learned, like getting these live streams ready, is certain things will catch Dallas off guard because he's so focused on painting. Like if we do something, it'll distract him in such a way. But still prepping the glow over there.
Yeah, this is time. This is time consuming.
This is your question, Brandon. We use P3 black primer.
P3 black primer. It's the bee's knees and the cat's meow.
Stuart is full of really good questions today. Their question is specifically him, but it can broach out beyond just this. How do I paint, for example, like a Native American skin tone as opposed to a Caucasian skin tone? So like different skin tones. How do you do different skin tones?
Man, that could be a really good video too, right?
Yeah.
Idrian flesh is a good brown skin tone. Add some battlefield brown to that for your shades, and then add Midland flesh to it, or Cardic flesh. Cardic flesh is a little more on the red side, and that gives you more of that Native American skin tone. For more of the darker skin tones, like Sonari skin tones, you can use battlefield brown first, shade down with umbral umber, and add a bit of purple to it, like beaten purple to it, and then highlight by adding Midland flesh to the battlefield brown, and that can get you. That's a good start to a darker skin tone.
What is this note, Tony? Ooh, yeah, all right. I'm just gonna state it instead of Tony just doing that. We're about 20 minutes out before we have to sign off.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to start our glows. So I've got Murderous Magenta over Menoth White highlight, and then I have my Carnal Pink. And now I'm going to use, back to our ink question, I'm going to use some ink. And for this, I will be using some, can you see that? Whoops. Some Piggy Purple ink.
Wait, can you repeat that for me? I didn't hear you quite right.
It's Piggy Purple ink.
Piggy Purple ink.
Piggy Purple ink.
What?
Yeah, that's what you're going to use. So go ahead and get that out and follow along, kids. Wait, what's going on?
I've never.
Are
you?
Oh.
Is it?
Is that?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's.
That's right, gang. Formula P3 is getting ready to add some colors to it. We have a expansion for the Grimkin. Some new colors on their way.
We haven't announced it yet. We've just been approved to talk about it right now, and it's an important part of the glow that Dallas paints today. Mm-hmm. So this is a P3 ink.
This is a Formula P3 ink that will be available
July is what it's looking like. I know I'm going to have an updated solicitation, but July is the target number.
Target.
But you.
Poo poo, Grimkin, lock and low,
2017.
Piggy
This is the new
Purple
surprise.
Link. This is the surprise. Now ask me questions, because I know you're burning.
Other colors.
So to start out, what other colors? To start out, I'm going to tell you two of my favorite colors that will be available soon. One of them is called Sickly Skin, It's this very very off-white, but pallid white color. It's super good. It was actually used to paint the heretics.
This is like mask
Stone
thing?
face.
Oh, it's stone face.
Yeah. My other favorite one is my favorite name in the line and one of my favorite colors, Deathless Metal.
Deathless metal.
Yes. Deathless Metal. Yeah! Deathless Metal.
There are a lot of devil horns
There's a
going
lot
on, as
going
John
on.
said.
Deathless Metal is like it's like a rich brown, almost tin colored metal.
I'm excited to see this. The only thing we can confirm right now for this is 6 new colors, similar to the other faction sets.
6 plus Piggy Purple.
Oh, Piggy Purple's in addition to the 6.
Yeah.
Ooh, 6 plus that, so 7. So at least 7.
At least 7.
So you're putting that glow on now.
This is just an ink.
Or it's just ink. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just sorry. Yes, as I'm putting the glow on, I'm just putting some of this ink down into that pot. This pot's full of that purple gumbo. And I'm just kind of glazing it over top and letting it work over top of that magenta. And there'll need to be some cleanup
Yeah.
later.
It's always going to be cleaned up to some extent. You're gonna add more to this, yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And of course, when Dallas finishes these models, you will get a chance to see them. They will go out. Ooh, that's a good question from Esther. While you're doing that, what is your favorite faction to paint? And this could probably go to everybody.
My favorite faction to paint.
Yeah.
I really enjoy painting Retribution and Protectorate.
I really like Protectorate.
But of course, Khador is. Anytime a Khador model comes in, I'm like, I want to paint that.
I really like Protectorate stuff myself. As I said, I have like a really deep dark green Protectorate paint scheme that I really enjoy, and then I have like this brighter blue Khador scheme that I really have enjoyed lately.
I've been working on my Legion army some more. Really enjoying that. I like painting up the hard chitin. Just doing little texture lines and flesh on big beasts is always good too, because you can do some nice color transitions from dark, cool colors to warm skin tones and just play around with them quite a bit. Kind of get away from your more traditional human style skin tones.
Yeah, I haven't painted them in a while, since back a little after Hordes first came out. But Legion is one of my favorites as well. I really like to play with the purples and the grays and different things for ice effects. I got to play with that a little bit more on some Khador stuff as well, because all the frost axes and stuff like that. So I'd have to say it's still Legion, but I really enjoyed doing that red paint scheme for those Signar. That kind of cherry muscle car red. It was a lot of fun.
Legion, man. Legion's one of those ones that's just it's all it's like Legion and Ret. It's all a exercise in subtlety, and it's just so fun to play with that subtle color schemes. Y'all want to see this color a little better? Let's go over here.
Yeah, bring that up. And while of that, thank you, Charlie. Saying the skin on that model looks awesome.
Oh, thanks, buddy. Look how rich that purple is. This is a super, super rich purple ink.
So a couple of the questions here. Would the new colors coming out be like the faction packs? Like Sigdar, etc. I believe they are coming as a faction.
The first 6, the 6 Grimkin colors are a Grimkin faction pack.
Will they be available individually?
Of course.
Yeah, like that's the answer. Of course they will. They may not be initially. I don't know exactly what that scheme's going to
I
look
don't know
like.
what that looks like.
But as with everything, they will be. So the things that you get in those like the Signard faction pack, you can get otherwise. Like they will be individual. And so there was a question on what an ink does. Like how does an ink work and what it does. And I think what you're doing now is a good way to explain it. So talking about your purple.
There's lots of uses for inks. Like they're not just one. So an ink is not a technique, right? As like a wash. A wash is not a thing. It's a technique. Does that make sense? So like a wash, like if you read, flesh wash or armor wash, like that doesn't mean that that's the only application of it. A wash is a technique. So anything can be a wash. So you can use inks to make a wash. You can use opaque paints to make a wash. So with that being described, a bit out of pointlessness because I just felt the need to say it, an ink is not a technique. An ink is just a thing. So there's no one way to use an ink. I use inks to glaze. So like Khador Red is achieved by glazing red ink over the red armor. The glow effects of many factions utilizes an ink. Crix uses yellow ink to tie all the paint job together of the glow to give it that sickly yellow green that you're used to seeing in the studio scheme. This is kind of the same way. I'm using this piggy purple ink to tie the magenta and the pink together, and then I can go back and I'll do a little highlighting on it. You can also just add it to opaque colors. You can just add it to an opaque color to intensify it. So like by adding, blue ink to your blue paint, you can make it more intense. So there's lots of applications for an ink.
So you would say ink is a tool.
Ink is a tool.
Hopefully that answers your question there, Jonas. So we're going to enter into the lightning round as Dallas is going here. We're going to have about 5 more minutes. So at 12:35, we're going to wind up for now. And then you can expect us next Thursday. We'll advertise beforehand. It's going to be between 10 and 11. We've got a little bit later today. We're going to probably shoot for 10. But Thursdays is when you can expect us.
Ask me questions. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Go, 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 go.
It is the lightning round. The not Jackson lightning round, as Schick puts it, where I'm just like, here's 12 really complicated questions. Answer all of them. And then we're going to go get food. I don't know what we're going to get, but we're going to get food.
That was my next question.
Gumbo or
Oh
pancakes?
man, gumbo pancakes.
Ugh.
No.
I don't think
Okay,
that's
sorry.
right.
Sorry, my bad. My bad. I got excited and I was like, oh, gumbo. Wait, no.
Which Lich Lord is the best Lich Lord?
No Lich Lord is a good Lich Lord.
Terminus. I'm agree with John here. Terminus.
I love Terminus, but I like the Shakespearean aspect of Asphyxius.
Oh, he's very Shakespearean.
Like, he's so epic in that manner.
That Skellington. Best painting snacks.
Oh, none.
Dallas likes none.
None. It gets in my
Tony.
mouth.
You use your mouth for
I
painting.
can't have it in my mouth.
And nothing that leaves residue on your fingers either.
Yeah, you don't want no Cheetos, no Doritos.
I like boba tea. Can I say that? No triangular shaped cheesy chips.
Or poofy finger shaped or little square shaped.
No cheesy poof balls.
A cup of coffee or a cup of tea.
Boba tea is one of my favorites.
I like a nice Earl Grey.
Earl Grey's.
when I'm painting.
Cup of soup.
Oh, nice.
Cup of soup is good.
But yeah, a cup is very.
How are,
And you don't want residue in your mouth. I mean, I don't. Like, that's just the way I paint, though.
for you, Stuart, how many brushes do you use? I think it's based on the job. Like, I use so many different brushes for different things. Fine detail, big old fat, like, gnarled up brush for dry brushing, like, whatever.
Use as many tools as you need.
That's right. There's no right number there. I use everything from crusty old tool paintbrushes that probably should have been thrown away years ago to watercolor brushes.
Yeah, you want to show that off?
I mean, this is typical.
Oh, did it get on there?
Yeah, I got it on
Okay.
there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty typical.
Oh, word.
Like, I got big flat dry brushes, old crappy. I don't throw anything away because sometimes I want to apply glue with it. Like, it's whatever's good for the job.
I don't think you should use cheese dust as pigment, but you do you. Like, that's your business.
It might work for terrain.
It could work for terrain. I know somebody who used coffee grounds to base their miniature, and it actually turned out really dope. Yeah, it does. Do we seal our minis?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes. Like, you should seal your minis when you're done.
Well, and the
Just in
other thing
general.
is with the metallics, because of the way photography works, I have to seal them because I have to dull coat them, because if I paint my metals, especially like something like convergence, right? If I paint it without sealing it and then we go to photograph it, it's just going to blow out, right? It's just going to be so much light coming back, you're not going to see them all. So we have to dull coat it, and then we put it on, like even at home, like my tabletop stuff, I dull coat it and then I put my final highlights on because that increases the metallosity.
Yeah. And here's a like philosophical like technique question.
Patience, practice, perseverance, and metallosity. It's the silent M of
Silent M.
P3.
Silent P.
Silent P, silent M. Yeah.
Or panomia.
Panomia, or possum, opossum, but not in this case.
Opusum.
Opossum. Do expensive brushes help? And I think that's the greater question there is, at least for me, an expensive brush helps if you know how to use a more expensive tool. Like, I don't get a really expensive saw to like build something.
Expensive isn't the thing you want. You don't worry about expensive. You want good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't learn to play guitar on some, like $25,000 guitar. You usually go pick up, something for $99 that, is going to break if you play it too hard, and learn on that. Same thing with, like just about any tools that you're going to do anything creative with is learn on something that you're not really worried about ruining. And then as you get more comfortable with your painting style, you're going to get different feedback from different tools and different people that you talk to about what works best for this or that, and then you're going to play with it, and at some point you'll have your favorites.
Yeah. And actually, John touched on something I like, which is just try new things. Like if you typically use one brush or a certain painting style, just get a new tool and start using that, and it will inform you one way or the other about how you like to paint.
Yeah. All right, we're going to take this final question from Stuart, who has been the most talkative. Please ask us your questions. We'd love to see even more questions, but this is the final question for everybody in the room today. Favorite model you've ever painted? Now, this has come up before.
I'll go first.
Okay. I mean, you can go last, too.
I'll go last. That's
Okay.
fine. Whatever. Go.
My favorite model that I have painted at this point, currently, even though it's usually like the model I've most recently painted, I really love how my Strackoff 2 models have come out. Amon is still one of my favorites. Like, dem abs. Like, that dude is just a baller.
That's I actually was thinking about saying Amon, but I'll go with my my second place, which is the Legion Nerif. Actually, looks really cool. It's got a lot of places on there where you can just mess with the skin and make those wings look nice and leathery, and little patience get it going with the translucency.
Right now, for me, it's actually a tie between the Thunderhead, like the original sculpt Thunderhead that I painted like way back in the day, and my new one. like I'm not sure which one I like better. The old one was in more of a kind of like exile blue, kind of a bluish gray kind of theme, and then the newer one is in that cherry red, gold, and a little bit of silver. I like them both for different reasons, but I love both the sculpts for the Thunderhead. I think he's dope.
And again, before Dallas answers, that is the last question for today. If you have other questions, reach out to Dallas about painting stuff on the Privateer Press painting forums.
Ask the studio thread, or even on Facebook. I'm active in the War Machine Hordes paint group.
Yep.
On Facebook.
War Machine Hordes paint group is one of my favorite places to be.
Yep, you can definitely find me there. You can ask me questions. I love answering questions.
And then your favorite model, Dallas.
Okay, real quick, we're going to talk about two things. So back to the ink thing. I just added Mara White to the Piggy Purple ink to create this nice lavender, and I'm using that to start highlighting my purple Grimkin Glow. Okay, favorite model. That's a twofold answer.
Ooh.
Right? Because my favorite model I ever painted for myself would definitely be my Victor. Like, I loved painting my Victor. I was so excited to paint my Victor. Professionally, when I got here and I found out that I got to paint the new casters for the launch of the new edition, and because coming in I didn't know that existed, right? And the second one I got to paint was Kozlov.
Kozlov's such a baller.
And I just had that. It was like, I think nostalgia and like all like wishy-washy feelings get mixed in with this. But he's such a cool model, and it was that moment where I was like, oh my god, I'm painting the battle box caster, right?
Yeah.
And then I used a famous actor's face as my reference point. It was like the first time I really did that.
Ooh,
and
okay.
so, huh?
I was saying, okay, yeah, that's.
And so that to me is still one of those moments where it's just like, it was just such a good time to paint and good model to paint.
My favorite thing that Dallas has painted is his Nemo bust.
And the studio one or the personal
one you
Both
did
of
for
them.
you.
My personal one.
Yeah,
I like my
actually, I love
personal
seeing
ones.
them together. The contrast between the two, just taking one bust and different paint jobs, making them look like two different people.
Yeah, you can just. I mean, that's the joy of painting, is like letting your imagination flow and just letting yourself be part of it, and just kind of having no rules to some extent. There's rules, but just letting yourself go.
Well, as we say, your army, your way all the time. I love seeing everybody's like particular paint schemes. But with that, as we're winding down,
Are we winding down?
we're
Are we
winding
done?
down. We're done for. We're
But
done
I
for
have
now.
more to say.
I know, Dallas, but next Thursday.
But you can't stop the signal. I
can't.
gotta talk.
We're gonna get there, Dallas. I think we're losing you.
No.
No.
Wait, we're still on. No, we're not.